Only 2 months on the Rolex waitlist. You have to be f***ing kidding me. Hi Last Watchers, if you haven't already done so, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you're already a fan, then you'll know that after languishing for years on the Rolex waitlist, I finally picked up my 40mm Explorer reference 224270 back in December of 2023. I was excited to finally get the call, but splashing out $6,500 only weeks before Christmas was a little daunting. It's now been several months since the green box found a place in my home, and the Explorer hasn't yet had the occasion to be on my wrist. Shocking, I know. In my wait for the Explorer, I kind of took my eye off the ball with regards to what was happening with Rolex and the luxury watch market. It's hardly my specialty. I have since subscribed to a couple of YouTube watch dealers, and it's apparent in most cases that the heyday of flipping for a crazy profit is over. Thank God. I should say that it's not and never was my intention to flip the Explorer, but given the current state of the market, it might have changed how and when I picked it up. I'm going to use the Explorer as window dressing, but today's video is a chat, sharing what I've learned so far in 2024, and I'd like you guys to join the conversation in the comments and share your experiences to help others make an informed decision when it comes to getting their hands on a Rolex. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. My first experience with the Explorer was way back in 2019 when I got to try on the 39mm 214270, a gorgeous watch and a perfect fit on my 7-inch wrist, but £4,500 for a newbie collector was something I couldn't justify. The epidemic hit a year later and Rolex prices went through the roof. Regrets? That was one of them. Time moved on and I expressed my interest at an AD for the updated 224270, and after way too much time, here it is. But should I have waited so long? If you check out the Watch Charts Rolex Market Index, then you can see that the grey market peaked in March of 2022, at which point there was what dealers like to call a market adjustment, which saw prices tumble over a 12-month period through to March and April of 2023. Prices have continued to fall, but less sharply over the last year. The only exception to these so-called market adjustments are the stainless steel professional models and pretty much every Daytona, which still sells substantially over the recommended retail price. I'm by no means an expert when it comes to understanding the Rolex watch market and can only guess as to what caused the market adjustment. The cost of living crisis has no doubt played a heavy part, with many owners needing to free up some much needed cash. Also factor in the extra availability of product with increased production after the epidemic. My AD told me they couldn't stock watches quick enough after the stores reopened, with customers looking to buy anything with the 5-pointed crown on the dial. If you know better, then please share. But the knock-on effect is that now is a really good time to buy a Rolex, and not just on the grey market. Rolex stores are full of watches on display, both exhibition and priced, and regardless of what the authorised dealer might tell you, they are all for sale. You just have to be the right customer at the right time. My AD is based in Edinburgh, but on a recent trip to Aberdeen, some 130 miles away, I paid a visit to the authorised dealer on Union Street. I was told categorically that they only add people to their interest list that live within that region, which I totally agree with. However, if I was looking for a bimetal or precious metal Submariner, they would not only sign me up, but pretty much guarantee a watch within months. Only last week I was travelling through Heathrow Terminal 5, and whilst waiting for a delayed flight, bloody BA, I popped into the Rolex store. Not that I needed much of an excuse. The rather eager assistant asked if I required any help, and I jokingly asked if he could sell me a sub, at which point he steered me towards the 126619LB. For those not in the know, it's a white gold blue bezel £38,200 Submariner. It was available to buy, and mine if I wanted it. Wanting a no date, it was an easy pass, but if the blueberry had been my grail, then I would already have picked it up on the grey market and saved myself thousands of pounds in the process. I'd be a fool to buy it at retail. Sometime after my Explorer video, review still pending, I was contacted by a friend in England. Let's call him M. M told me that he loved the Explorer and was considering the 36mm 124270 reference. A little bit of background here. M has always worn a watch. He's not a collector, but has a couple of tags. It's alright, I forgive him. He has a slight build and prefers a watch that doesn't look like a plate on his very thin wrist. Like me, he's working class from humble beginnings and worked hard to secure a comfortable lifestyle. He's reached a point in his life where he's decided the time was right to treat himself to something special, but he was a little intimidated at the prospect of walking into an authorised dealer and feeling somewhat out of place. Third world problems, eh? We had a lengthy chat and I told him to treat the experience like a job interview for a job that doesn't exist. He should be upfront, genuine and honest about what he was after. If the AD was any good, then they would be more than happy to sit him down, let him try some watches on and take his note of interest. In his favour, I mentioned that the 36mm wasn't a particularly popular size, so there would be less competition on the waitlist, and that he should also consider checking out some Datejusts, and maybe an OP as a backup second preference. I also suggested possibly calling the AD to make sure he didn't need an appointment for his visit, as some ADs won't entertain a walk-in on a busy day. M called me back after his appointment and said the AD couldn't have been nicer. They'd made him feel welcome and not at all uncomfortable. By chance, they had a bimetal 36mm Explorer reference 124273 in store. He tried it on his wrist, and much to his surprise, they offered him the watch. The size was perfect, but the gold was too much for M, so he declined, and this is where it gets interesting. They suggested a discount might be available if he bought the watch. Just take that in for a second. This was M's first visit to a Rolex AD, and they offered him a watch at a discount. He was lucky to get out of there with his credit card intact. Somewhat shell-shocked, M left the store with his name on the list, not knowing if and when he might get the call for his 36mm stainless steel Explorer. Some weeks after that, to fill the void, he picked up a discontinued, as new, full-set mid-sized 36mm Omega Seamaster Professional, which he totally loves. He was still very much in the honeymoon period when he got an unexpected call from the Rolex AD to tell him that his Explorer was in stock and ready for collection. M is now a very happy man who has bolstered a growing collection with two fantastic watches. He's blaming me for the dent to his finances. And I'm just a little bit gobsmacked that in just under 2 months from putting his name down for the Explorer, he has it on his wrist. And unlike me, he's worn it every day. As a way of thanking me for the advice I offered, he sent me this as a wee gift. M, if you're watching, congratulations on picking up your first Rolex. I'm sure it won't be your last watch. I understand that Rolex frown upon ADs discounting their watches, which is why I've not named the dealer or given their location, as M is already planning his next purchase. Now you could argue that M's circumstances were quite unique. He preferred an entry-level Rolex that isn't in high demand, but even so, 2 months on the list for any Rolex is unheard of. Well, actually, it's not. A lot of you have emailed me this year with similar stories of short wait periods, so much so that I'm seriously re-evaluating the relationship I have with my authorised dealer and if I should be putting my name down with a rival. After M's initial visit to the AD, I had suggested that the grey market might be an option for him, as 2 years on a waitlist would also see 2 years of price increases from Rolex that could be easily nullified by buying now on the secondary market, as the Explorer is trading close to list. I'm just glad that M didn't take my advice, but it's something that I'm now considering. I've been waiting way too long for the Submariner 124060, and there have been at least 3 price increases from Rolex over that period, but the grey market has gone in the other direction, and those flippers might get my money before the AD. So what are the options in 2024 for us mere mortals when it comes to buying a Rolex? Nothing is guaranteed, but I think those entry-level Explorers, Air Kings and OPs might be a short-term wait. Stainless steel professional models are a definite long-term, but don't even consider picking up a precious metal or bimetal Submariner or GMT from the AD, as RRP is a premium compared to the grey market prices, and if your dream is to own a GMT Pepsi or Daytona, then the grey market will be your only option. I'm happy for you to prove me wrong. As I said earlier, I'm by no means an expert when it comes to all things Rolex, far from it, so I'm really looking forward to reading about your personal experiences and any advice you may have to offer in the comments below. If you happen to be a Rolex AD with a Submariner for sale, then drop me an email. It was worth a try. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.